begin.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome once again to Ask Elaine. We want to thank you for tuning in, those who have tuned in on AM 980, those who have tuned in on 107.9 FM, those who are on Facebook Live for Ask Elaine on the Glory. We want to welcome you and by whatever media you have joined us. We thank you for being here. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you once again to the program. We want to thank all of our sponsors and we want to ask you to continue sponsoring. If you're interested in helping to keep this program on, we would like to hear from you. So call us and let us know that you're interested in helping to keep the program on the air. We especially want to thank Black Voters Matter, which is a nonpartisan organization that has taken on the task of making sure that voting rights are protected in this country. Black voters indeed do matter. Your vote matters. Doesn't matter what your race is, but Black voters matter because we don't always use our right to vote. We don't always use it. And people make decisions and do things to you based on the fact that they think that Black voters will not vote. Consolidation is an example of a vote that was placed on the ballot at a time when people thought that Black voters would not vote. So when you see that happening, you know that it's a plot, it's a scheme against you. And I would be insulted. I'm always insulted when people place an election on the ballot at a time when they think that I and my people will not go and vote. That you should be insulted as well. Our very special guest today and my co-host who joins us once per month, and we're glad that he can find the time to join us. Always a wonderful co-host, always with lots of good information, has a track record of work, unselfish work in this community. And he is none other than Herbert Denard, who is a retiree. He's a walker. He's a health fanatic. Bugs folks all the time about their health, thank goodness. He is still involved in the community. He is the founder of the Georgia Informer, which is now the Middle Georgia Informer. He's a former member of the Water Board, served on the Board of Tax Assessors, and just has a lot of things going on. And we want to congratulate him on the naming of a building, a water board building in his honor. And Herbert, you want to tell us about that building, the location, and how that came about? How you get a building named for you?
I am new at this, Elaine. You have a building named after you. Well,
you have to do something, I think.
Yes.
It's
on. It's going to be on Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be on April 11th at the maintenance facility.
And the new name is gonna be the Herbert
Denard.
L. Denard.
Yes. Maintenance facility.
maintenance facility. That's where all the work emanates,
That's
isn't it?
that's correct. I'm on it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You should be, because people took the time to think, and you're no longer serving on the water board, but you must have had an impact. What were some of the things that you did that you championed while you were a member of the water board?
The first thing I did on the very first day, we made Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday a holiday. This was before the national holiday.
Uh-huh.
This was just Atlanta was the first city that made it a holiday, and we followed right after then, before the commissioners, before all of them. But we started a committee system. They didn't have any committees at all. They just met for a little while, made some decisions, didn't study like they should have. But one of those I'm most proud of was we expanded water in the county in black areas. When I was first elected, out in Lizella, water was going out there, and it got to a black section of town, and they went around it, and then picked up from the other side.
Well, of course.
I mean, but sometimes they do things, but most of the time it's not as obvious.
As that, yeah,
Right.
that is obvious. That's what Marianne Whipperloo over in Gordon
Hmm.
found when she was mayor over there. That water was just deliberately
Absolutely.
directed around areas where Black folks live. Do people think that we don't need water, that we don't deserve water?
They
Do
all,
people actually think that we don't need to have water and we don't deserve to have water?
they don't care.
Uh-huh.
Just like we had unpaved streets for how long?
Right, for forever,
Right.
until the what, the 70s?
70s.
Uh-huh. Had to pass a resolution, had to pass an act, it on the ballot,
Yeah.
where before it, all of our money was going in to pave the streets in all the other sections of town
Right.
where we didn't live, but our streets were unpaved. And so we had to pass a law
Absolutely.
that would tax all of us a certain amount of money to get our streets paved.
A lot of things we had to do, and like I said, the water was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
They would go in certain sections of other parts of Bibb County, and they did not take water and sewage services out there. We're still behind, I think, on the sewage service.
There are a number of places where they're still on the well. Some people choose
Right.
to stay connected to the well, but
But they had masses of people
yeah.
that did not have water in large sections of the town, and most of those is in the Black community, just
Mhm.
as we had with paved streets.
So you got on the water board and you did something about that.
I didn't do it by myself. I had
Mhm.
Albert Billingsley, I had
Mhm.
Reverend Booker Chambers, and I had Bob Campion.
Mhm.
And we had decided certain things that we was going to try to accomplish during our first couple of years on there.
Mhm.
And we went in there with a mission to do some things.
Mhm. How many years were you on the water board?
16 years.
16. I didn't realize. I knew it was a long time. I didn't realize. There's some people that say that that's too long, that you just are there. But I say, in response to that, if you're doing something, you better hold on to what you have.
When people are elected, they should have some things they would like to try to accomplish rather than just be there getting
Right.
a paycheck. And
Well, it's not the paycheck. It's not a big. I mean, I think a lot of people think that there are huge salaries now in Congress in Washington. They make about like $180,000. Then they get free mailing privileges, travel, office space. They get money for district offices throughout their district. That's the senators and the representatives in Congress in Washington. In Atlanta, the state representatives and state senators get, I think it's 16,000. No, that's with travel and stuff. 15 something thousand. So you don't get rich. A lot of people on the commission. There are a lot of people that think we get, what is it, 15,000. Yeah, 15,000, and you split that up over 12 months, and you see what that is. So these positions, other than the Congress and the presidency and those kinds of positions, of course, the folks who head those organizations, like the Speaker and the President of the Senate, all of those folks, who's the Vice President, but those folks have significant budgets and significant salaries. That's a different scale, though. But you don't get rich as unless you do something like the some of the Congress people like Purdue, who
Mm-hmm.
went up there and he found out about the medicine, the vaccine, and he and Loeffler, all of them up there buying stock,
Mm-hmm.
which was illegal. They should have gone to jail. And then Purdue has the nerve then to want to run for governor and talk about Kemp, who's just as bad, but who didn't trade stock. We want to welcome Pastor Lisa, who is reminding us that April 4th at 7 p.m., Greens Tabernacle Baptist Church is hosting the Evangelical Ministers Alliance program for the MLK Drum Major Award ceremony. So everybody, please put that on your calendar. That event is sponsored by the EMA, but it's endorsed by your very own governmental, quasi-governmental entity, the ML King Commission. It's April 4th at 7 p.m. at Greens Tabernacle. And she says we'll celebrate the 9th annual Drum Major Award. That's Monday, y'all. It's always held on April the 4th because that is the anniversary of the assassination of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And we certainly want to celebrate his life. And there will be a reception following that event. You'll like that, Herbert. And the reception is sponsored by the ML King Commission. We, this year, with the commission and with all of the organizations that are working with it, we're working closer. And we'll be planning some countywide events. We had one back in January on the birthday, the celebrated day for the national holiday for Dr. King. It was at City Hall because of the weather. But that was a collaborative. So many people showed up, so many organizations, so much talent. And with this program, Pastor Lisa, if you're on Facebook Live, you are seeing her notes here in the chat. She's saying there's 6 honorees in different areas. It's an MLK endorsed event, reception following, great music. Some of the performers at the January event will be performing at this event at Greens Tabernacle. In the past, we have had just a handful of folks, usually the honorees family, mama, daddy, sister, brother, spouse, they'll show up. And then we with the ML King Commission, me, Dr. Ficklin, Joyce Gray, Humphrey, you, you, and others will show up. But we want there to be a huge crowd there.
Who are some of the honorees?
Okay. Pastor Lisa is posting those. Dr. Rhonda Green Barnes in education, Mr. Percy Hill in education, Al Tillman, I believe he's in governmental affairs. Pastor, if you'll continue to post those honorees, then I will read those and share those as you post them. But this is a good event. This is a community-wide event. And what we say with the King Commission is that we celebrate Dr. King not just in January when he was born, and not just in April when he was killed, when he was murdered, but we celebrate the year round, which is the way we should do it. And we should celebrate Black history the year round because I'd say without fear of anybody countering what I'm saying, that I'm sure there are Black folks who have accomplished stuff every day of the year, and there are people who are accomplishing things now. So all right, Commissioner Al Tillman and Brother Carlton Kitchens,
Hmm.
community awards. Pastor Lisa, keep posting those and we will share those with our audience, and we appreciate your being there. Also, Mother Overseer Geraldine Cotton
Hmm.
and my pastor. I don't know how in the world I forgot my pastor, Pastor Livonia Franklin, with the clergy. And it's MLK 365 is what we say. Don't just talk about January and April, talk about MLK 365. And while I'm talking about that, Herbert, the ML King Commission Board is joining with the local branch NAACP. Gwen Westbrooks is the local president, and she's assisted by some of the most loyal and energetic folks you ever want to see. Maria Bryant, Willie Dumas, a number of other folks. And they will be paying tribute to our public works employees. All of you will remember that Dr. King was in Memphis advocating on behalf of the public works employees, the garbage
Hmm.
people who were underpaid and working in dangerous situations. And Dr. King was there on their behalf. And so each year we try to join together and say thank you to our public works employees. Because now think about it, y'all. If somebody doesn't pick up your trash, you're going to be ticked off.
Hmm.
That's the one thing that people get ticked off the most with, if their trash is not picked up. And so we have to thank these people who really are putting themselves, they're essential workers, they're putting themselves in danger. But Brother Dominique Vidal Nichols will bring the, what is that, epilogy?
He's going to speak,
Yes,
bring the
yes.
message.
Thank you, Herbert.
Now, I don't know what the
Okay.
word is. That's Lisa Watson,
Yeah,
Dr. Lisa Watson.
yeah. But now she knows words, so
Right.
she'll tell us. She'll get us
But,
told in
but, I,
just a minute.
but I will tell you this, Dominique can speak.
Dominique is wonderful. Young man who's in the school system. I believe he's head of the ninth grade academy out
Mm.
at West Side, getting those ninth graders, because that's the year when you have so many people turned off to school. So the work that he's doing is just very essential, that you get them interested and you get them into something that they really benefit from in ninth grade. So he's over that ninth grade academy. And he's also a former teacher of the year. He was over at Northeast, I believe, and he won teacher of the year over there. But he can speak. You're absolutely right.
He is very, very talented, and
Very good.
he comes in prepared.
Yes,
You will not
yes.
be bored.
And the words just roll. He's a member of the
Gail Talbot
Gail
Smith.
Talbot
Smith.
Smith, who is another one of my, she's one of my sheroes. She's something. She's a wonderful
Hmm.
person. And by the way, we have gotten the sign up over at Dr. Talbert's park. It was the Wise Avenue Park. That's Gail's mom, and over on Wise Avenue, right near where Progressive used to be. And so I introduced the resolution to have that park changed from Wise Avenue Park to Dr. Betty Talbert Park
in honor of a mother.
in honor of her mother, Dr.
Wonderful person.
Talbot. Yes. And so we're going to get with the family and have them to come up with a dedication program very soon. But we got off track a little bit, but all of that's good information. Um, oh, Lisa says we were two of the first drum majors to receive the awards, and we are honored, always
Absolutely.
honored that people think we've done something. But there's no point in being an elected official, especially a Black elected official, and you don't do anything while you're at the table. And so many of us get disappointed in especially our elected officials, because sometimes they go for the name or for the title or, to be in pictures and all of that. But it's so much more than that. You got to do something while you're there.
Absolutely. That's why you're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we want districts to make sure we was
Exactly.
represented. We're not
Exactly.
there for fashion.
Right.
You're supposed to try to do something to improve your community.
Right. 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 And years ago, there were no Black elected officials. There might have been
Zero.
one here and there, and they were folks that, there was one here and there.
When I returned to Macon,
Mhm.
when I started Macon College, junior college with you, both of us classmates.
He had been away in the military, y'all. He tries to make y'all think we're the same age. We are not.
but there was zero Black elected official. Somebody reminded me the other day that I was the first Black Santa Claus in Macon.
Were you really?
Absolutely.
I
why we had
remember
it?
that.
But you know why I was?
Why?
Some of the white Santa Claus didn't want Black folks to sit on their lap.
Oh, why am I surprised? Why didn't I know that? I knew that.
Right. And some of them, they had them, they just kept them at distance and stuff. That's how it started.
But see, that's the kind of person you are. There are things that you notice and things that you have dealt with and wanted to find a solution to that a lot of people don't pay any attention to. So Maria Bryant with the NAACP says that she is very thrilled that we're joining with them. And is that you? That we are joining with them in saluting our public works and sanitation employees. Kimberlyn Carter has joined us too on Facebook Live. And so we're just really happy to have all of you, along with Maria Bryant. Thank you for your work and your service. I think
Kim Carter, that's Jesse Carter's daughter?
That's Jesse Carter's daughter. Yeah. Years ago, we named a park, Memorial Gym, that field back there where Jesse used to stand out there, and he was just such an advocate for youth sports. And so we named that. And I've got a picture of the late D.T. Walton, who was just a bosom buddy of Jesse Carter's. Kim is in the picture. Her mother, Jacqueline, is in the picture. There's just a number of people. I'm going to see if I can find it and post it on my Facebook page. Y'all ought to come over to my Facebook page and see, because I post a lot. The other day, I found some pictures of some of the first members of the Voters League. When you remember, we almost got arrested.
They did not want us to vote, and they harassed us during that period and threatened to lock us up.
That's right.
Because we were registering people.
That's right.
Colonel Dews, I remember his
name. Goodness, former military. He was just the worst old redneck.
Trying to scare us.
Tried to scare us. We were young and foolish. We couldn't be scared.
We didn't scare.
No. And now that we're older, we will not be scared. So we've learned that, that they're just selling wolf tickets. We're going to keep on doing what we've been doing. Kimberly says that she and her mom have that photo framed and at her mom's house. And it was a beautiful moment when we dedicated that field in honor of Jesse Carter. I've got to check and make sure that that sign is still up there and everything, that it's in good repair, because when I leave the commission in 2.5 years, I would like to see completed recreation facilities all over
Mhm.
this community. That's always been one of my goals. That if you have something productive for folks to do and you tell them about it, that you're spending their money to provide it, they will take advantage of it. A
I,
lot of people just don't know.
I think you said we all also going to talk about Will Smith slapping Chris
Yeah,
Rock.
yeah, yeah. And if y'all have any opinions on any of these topics, if y'all would give us a call, 478-250-1444. I think our engineer is back there and he'll take the call and let us know that there's a call. But if you have an opinion on this, we don't always get a chance to talk about the national issues like we used to, but everybody has seen the slap. Chris Rock was emceeing the awards program, and he made a joke. I don't know whether they were trying to get publicity, because it certainly has become a big publicity thing, or whether he was just stupid. And she's sitting up there, has alopecia, which is a disease, a scalp disease, where your hair stops growing in certain areas. Some people have it all over. And Chris Rock made this joke, and Will Smith got up from his seat in the audience and went up and TI'd him upside the head or face or whatever. And of course, after that, everybody's had an opinion on it. Herbert, what do you think?
I always liked uh, Will Smith,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't care as much about Chris Rock,
Mm-hmm.
but my opinion has reversed.
Uh-huh.
So many black folks are fighting and getting killed over small things because somebody said this or said that. Uh, we need to walk away. I know that's hard, but you need to walk away from fights. Every day, somebody's locked up about something like that.
Yeah.
And some take it to another degree where they
Yeah,
shoot
we've
somebody.
had several deaths in
And
the last several days.
and what I push for people to do, walk away. When unless they are threatening your person with violence or something, you walk away and
Mm-hmm.
try to handle it another way. Black folks are in jail for a lot of things, but one of them is they will go upside your head, they will fight, they will shoot, they will do a lot of things. And it's kind of come from John Wayne and Clint Eastwood and
Well, that's what that we've had to watch
John
over the years.
Richard
Yeah.
Roundtree and Shaft and Superfly. Somebody hit you, and some of your mamas taught you. They hit you, hit them back.
Hit them back.
But
Don't
with
come home with a whipping.
right, but with the number of black people being killed and shot, we need to look at alternatives. How do you handle a situation like this? What do you do when adversity steps in?
Yeah.
How do you handle when somebody say something about you? You're supposed to fight. We do it more so. I heard Kareem Abdul-Jabbar talk about it the other day. The statistics are how we do it more so than some of the other races
Yeah.
do it. And
Yeah.
we need to find a way because the people that we are going upside their head and they're each
They're
other.
our folks. They're
They're our
us.
folks.
Us. And I think it's because the penalty for doing that to someone else of another color, the
Oh,
penalties are greater than, you've heard people in years past say, I'll go to jail for hurting you.
right.
I'll go to jail
And
for that.
most of
And
the
they're
time they
just so proud and stuff of it, because they're saying basically that their penalty is not going to be as harsh, or they won't get as many years if they kill a black person than it would be if they killed somebody white. And
What
that is just so
what do you
sad.
what do you do if somebody slap you? You almost feel that you got to respond if somebody slaps you. So what happens is, if somebody curse you, somebody says something about your mama, or say any of those kind of things, we need to find a way to handle it without going fisticuffs.
Well, now there
And
are
often
millions of dollars that are being approved for a lot of different organizations to come up with solutions and work with groups of people in our community. We've got millions of dollars that we approved, we on the commission approved some weeks ago. And that money is to go to these different agencies that are promising. They're going to work with especially young people, because we've got to train the young and bring them up. It's real hard to work with older folks. So the children have to learn that there are ways of dealing with stuff without leaving a body on the ground.
how do you handle adversity when it steps in and somebody do something against you that really makes you angry? What do you do? Do you strike back? Do you walk away? I say walk away.
Dr. Butler says that the scripture says that we ought to turn the other cheek. Pastor Lisa says, pray for me. I'm saying the same thing, Pastor Lisa. Pray for me, because we've all got a lot of learning to do. We've people say some that we have mellowed over the years. It's because you learn that there's a better way to handle stuff. You get your information, and then you can either out talk or outmaneuver or out fact check people on things. You learn a different way, but we've got to give our kids those different tools that they can use where they talk somebody down rather than just going straight. And what they're doing is going straight to killing.
They skip some of the other things.
Yeah, right. Because they don't know them. They don't have those.
A lot of bad things are going on all over America, especially in the black community. I remember going to the sheriff's office when I was a much younger man, and they had half of the people in prison was black, and we was about 40% of the population then. I thought it was the worst thing going.
Yeah.
And then right now, when you go to the Beaver County Jail, it's 90%. We have to do something. It's not all of us now.
Right.
A lot of times they target us. The police target black folks. But we need to do our part, and our elected officials, both black and white, need to do their part to stop the targeting.
Right.
But I remember somebody got shot the other day. The guy shot him in the leg. As soon as he got out of the hospital and got him a pistol, he went and found the guy that shot him in the leg and killed him. Now he's doing 10 years. We need, and you know what the parents are doing? The parents got to come up with this $10,000 or $20,000 to pay a lawyer and pay that the rest of. We have to stop it.
Yeah, yeah.
And Will Smith didn't help matters by slapping that person upside the head.
Right.
And then I saw a picture later on. He was just partying away at an event that happened after then. He was just partying.
Mm-hmm. Kimberlyn says that she doesn't determine her views on a person by something that happens in their worst public moment. And that brings up a point that we have got to, you don't just have to physically attack somebody. Now, the slap was a physical thing, but there's the verbal. And Chris Rock attacked a black female verbally.
He's a comedian.
He is a comedian.
I've heard worse things said, and he just said he thought he said that she was going to be in the movie like I don't know, remember her name now. GI.
Right. The character in that show was a female who was in the military,
Right.
and her hair was cut very, very short. And I would just hope that Chris Rock did not know that Jada Pinkett Smith has alopecia, which is a disease where your hair comes out, or some, or all of it. There's a female in the Congress, and if anybody remembers her name, if you would post her name in the chat, but she suffers with alopecia. So it's become a conversation item and one of a lot of discussion. And it would seem to me that some things might be off limit, but maybe they're not with comedians. But I'm telling you, people say sticks and stones may break my bones, but talk will never hurt me. Talk does hurt.
You
It
remember?
most certainly does hurt.
You,
So,
you remember Don Rickles, comedian, white comedian, used to tell all kind of jokes and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Just say any of them. If anybody, if that person had have been a white person, would Chris Rock walk up there and slap him?
yeah. What Kimberly
Not Chris.
Carter says her friend, Congresswoman Ayanna Presley. She's the one. And when she first started serving, she wore wigs, braids, all different kinds of hair attachments. And now she is wearing her hair bald. She's a beautiful woman. That makeup flawless, just gorgeous. But she's bringing to the forefront that disease and making it more acceptable for women with alopecia to wear their heads bald or with the short, real short haircuts. Pastor Lisa says that Chris Rock went too far, joking, and I kind of
But
agree.
if a person goes too far, should we then walk up there and slap them? That's what we're saying now. And if somebody say a tasteless joke, and they're a comedian, if they go too far, do that give us the right to try to knock them out?
That is the question, y'all. We want to hear your opinion. If you're on the chat, go ahead and post. Pastor Lisa says that you especially don't joke about or attack about disabilities. But
If they attack disabilities, then you should go up there and slap them upside the head, or kick them, or knock them, or shoot them.
you remember when Trump was there imitating someone with a disability? You remember that?
Hmm.
And we were just outraged about it. What I mean,
Outrage is one thing.
uh-huh.
Going upside somebody's head with 50 million or 100
See,
million people.
see, he's one. Someone was questioning whether Chris Rock would have done a joke about a white female like that. What do you think?
I think he would have.
You think so?
I've heard him do a lot. What it appears that people are saying, if somebody step out of line and call your name
Mhm.
or say something negative about somebody you love, you should go up there and beat them. Hit them.
Well, that is not the message that we're trying to send, but we're trying to open the discussion and have people to think about what we can do to convince young people that we're losing too many of them and that they go straight to 10, straight to 100 rather than trying to talk and joke or whatever it is. Kimberly Carter says alopecia is an autoimmune disease. It is truly difficult for Black women as our hair is so much a part of who we are. And so there's a lot of Dr. Butler, says Trump talking about everyone. Trump should be under the jail somewhere. he should be under the jail. He has disrespected and talked about everybody, called black folks SOBs, black athletes. He is in a special category of folks. And I could just think of a lot of things he brings out in me what shouldn't be
Right.
brought out.
But what I keep coming back to, what should you do if somebody say something negative about you or your family members? In this day, with the ability of guns and
Right,
knives and
right,
everything else to
right.
do, what is the best way should we handle that?
Okay, Sheila Worthy says that Will could have made a subtle remark in rebuttal when he made his acceptance speech.
Absolutely.
Chris is a comedian and just being Chris, but she says I have to believe that he had no knowledge of Jada's alopecia. Lachelle Stanley, and these are welcome, y'all. These are some folks, some names that I have not seen before in the chat. Lachelle Stanley says it doesn't give us the right, but you have a choice: get slapped or else. Keep your hands, um, keep your hands to. Will got it from. Oh, Will got it from. And Pastor Lisa says, be careful about putting your mouth on people's women and mamas.
So if somebody says something about your mama, like folks used to do all the time,
Yeah.
that gives us
Oh boy.
the right to go upside the head now with where everybody got guns.
I'm not saying that. I am saying that our folks, our young people are killing each other.
Absolutely.
Our young folks are killing each other, and we have got to teach them some, like they want to get the police to do de-escalation, which they're having a hard time with. They really are, but they're getting sued and paying out millions of dollars, in fines, in court settlements. Okay, and we've got a call, but yeah. All right, caller, welcome to
This is
Ask.
Travis T. Dunn Jr. speaking.
Pastor Dunning, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine to my favorite public servant. And I want you to know, I know the brother you're talking to right now, Herbert Nard.
Herbert Denard.
Yeah, we went to school together, and I was a young man. Herbert had gone to war, and he came back to Fort Valley State, so he's about 20 years older than me. But I will say this: he was a very smart man, and he had a voice. We shared a professor, Dr. Robert Miles, and he and Johnny Mars was the only one that was strong enough to out talk Dr. Miles.
Uh-huh.
Is great. And I do want to say something about the violence in front of us. We
Okay.
as a people have gone through so much, Commissioner. We had to take the N word. We had to take criticism. I helped integrate the public schools here in Macon. I got
Mhm.
called Brillo head, everything but a child of God. And I think now, maybe I'm wrong. Help me out here, but I think our skin has gotten a whole lot thinner than it used to be. Our forefathers and foremothers, they had to take a whole lot. And because of their strength, they were able to turn around this country. Look at Dr. King. Look at Fred Shuttlesworth. Look at Ralph David Abernathy, and many, many more. They had to go through so much abuse, and they took it. And what was sad was they didn't. Those two brothers didn't model good behavior. There are people that are looking up to them. I hate it mainly because people's going to think, like Herbert said, because they did it, that's accepted behavior. No, like you just said, he could have got up there and talked about the disease. And let me tell you something else too. In my old man state, short hair is beautiful, and you don't need to go that way. He could have said, "I love my wife. She looks good. I love her in short hair," and it could have been all over. But they
Mhm.
were able to let somebody look at us and say, "Oh, that's why we don't want them at the Academy Award." But thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Herbert. Y'all got the right message. That's a way to
Pastor,
handle.
you are just always a
Absolutely.
wonderful person. We appreciate it. You do so much that people don't know anything about. Bishop Don H. Scott says, just a question. When did Chris disrespect Jada by saying anything about her hair or condition? He didn't say anything directly. He did not say Jada sitting over there with her hair cut
Yeah.
real low and everything. What he made a reference to was the movie in which there is a female a
Demi Moore.
military person and the hair was cut low. And
Yeah.
so his reference, it was an insulting thing. It
He
should
wasn't trying
not
to
have
be. Yeah,
been
you're right.
done. And if you looked at Jada's face, you could tell it was out of order. But the
Yeah.
big question too is, was the slap in order? And so
No, that
most
was
of
not
the
in order.
folks who are commenting or saying that no, because it feeds into that whole thing of continued violence that we have against each other in our
Right.
community. So
Right.
uh, Rashetta Henderson um, says this makes us think twice about what you say. Also, it makes you evaluate what you will do when faced with a similar situation. We have to learn to handle people with grace at the same time, sternly let them know you disapprove. Will was defending his wife and could have handled it differently.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Commissioner,
Um,
we are laughed at the joke. And if you ever go to any kind of comedy situation, they pick on the audience. They pick on white people. They pick on black folk. That's
yeah,
just what they do. It's
yeah.
unfortunate a disease was associated with it. But listen, here's my little last comment. Demi Moore looked good in her short hair, and I believe even if Jada would play a role like that, remember Black Panther?
Hmm.
Remember
Uh-huh. Yeah.
those were good-looking women with short hair.
Absolutely.
I'm a lady too,
It didn't
and
have to go
yes,
that
they
way.
did. They it was
And,
yeah,
and my favorite short hair public person is Simone. I can remember Simone Sanders. That is a
yeah,
good looking woman with short hair. There's
yeah.
a way to do it. You mentioned the congresswoman, but listen, if you got it inside, now the book said this now. It's what's on the inside. Man, look at on the outer appearance, but my God looks at the heart. It's what's inside.
All right, Pastor.
Now,
Can
All right.
Commissioner, can I go with
Herbert Denard has a remark. Go ahead.
this? Okay.
if Chris Rock
Mhm.
had been Mike Tyson,
Well, well.
Will Smith walked up there and slapped him.
It wouldn't have
Mike
been
would
Mike
Mike would have done that.
Tyson.
Herbert,
It
if
would
Mike
not
played
have
hero,
been Mike Tyson up there. It would not.
But he would not have walked up there and slapped
he
him.
would have done that.
Number one,
That's right.
you know Mike Tyson is half crazy,
Yeah.
maybe whole.
Yep.
But
No, but listen, the brothers are now forgiving each other. I believe I heard somebody say that,
yeah,
and I hope I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it as a teaching moment for my Sunday message, the art of forgiveness, and
Uh-huh.
I just want us to do better than that. And
Yeah.
we are better.
But Stanley says Herbert, his ear would have been bitten off.
Listen, I saw that fight 90 seconds, and the man ate the man's ear.
Oh my,
Mike-
yeah. Now
Mike-
that's the
I was so
problem with
disappointed.
Mike would do anything to win. If a person walked
That's
up there and slapped him, it would have been over.
well. The
So
thing
Mike,
is,
Mike,
okay.
and I like what Chris Rock said. He said on television, That man just walked up here and slapped the doo-doo out of me.
Yeah, he did. He said it right after he did it.
And he was
It ca-
cool and
yeah, he
calm.
was.
He was
It
cool. That's
shook
right.
him. It was a shocker to
And
him.
then this Will Smith kept saying, "Don't you ever mention my
Yeah,
wife's name."
No,
And
he
he put some
said,
profanity.
keep my
that's the name.
wife's
That's
name out of your
that's the
mouth.
name.
He said it the colored way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he did. He did. Kimberlyn Carter says that her hair is not in that style by choice. It's due to hair loss and repeated balding due to the
I
disease.
understand.
And Chris Rock should have had more sensitivity to that. He's
Yeah.
out
All
there.
right.
He should have been more sensitive to that. And we had another comment from Bishop Scott, who was saying that speaking up against violence is always in order, but the act of violence is not. It's not. And we do have a serious problem in our community. We are killing each other every day. There
Right.
is one news story after the other of Black folks killing each other. When is it going to be not okay for us to just kill each other as though we don't mean anything? And I just submit that it's a lack of respect that's born out of slavery, but it has been forced into us all of these years that it's okay to hurt each other. We're not going to punish. Society's not going to punish you as much if you hurt each other. And then there was a police officer that told me one day that a citizen on the north side of town said, "Oh, we don't care how many of them kill each other over there, as long as they don't bring it over here. We're in our gated community, so we don't care, we don't care." So folks are sitting around and they're thinking, well, they're killing each other, so we don't, we don't care about that. And that's one of the things that's sickening as well.
That's what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was talking about. But the question I keep raising: what do you do when somebody could say something about you, your family, or anybody? What do you think? I especially speak to my friend Kim Carter. You should hit them. You should kick them. You should beat them. Or you should do what?
Kim says that the issue is when you have alopecia, it gets to the point where you can't do hair plugs, implants, and wigs or weaves. It can severely irritate or cause bad breakouts. So it is a serious something, and that should not be joked about.
I believe that he didn't know. He made the joke. It was wrong. But when something wrong happened to you, whether it's accidentally or on purpose, what should your reaction be?
Our reaction should be that we have a toolbox of ways of dealing with that disrespect. We should have a toolbox. Kimberlyn says, she responded to someone else's remarks. And I am so happy to see so many people commenting on this. What was your question, Herbert?
What should you do when adversity steps in and something happened to you? Somebody say something about a family member of yours. Somebody say something about you. If your wife or somebody's got cancer and they lost all their hair, or they have this disease, it's all of that is terrible, terrible, terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens when somebody say something negative, whether it's on purpose, or accidentally, or whatever, they say it? How do we react?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
question.
And Kimberly says she's in no way defending Will Smith, but she's defending Jada Pinkett Smith as a disabled person. And that is what I'm feeling too, that she was just blindsided. And at an event like that, for someone to make a joke about my disease
If you
and
are
I
blindsided,
would look over at David thinking, "What are you gonna do?" Just
and
like
that's
she
what
looked at Will. But there has to be a number of ways, and that's the toolkit that I'm talking about. And those agencies that have applied and have gotten hundreds of thousands of dollars in this community, you have said you're going to come up with some ways of helping children and families to deal with making these Ms. Henderson, these split second decisions, to listen and be slow to wrath, to come up with some ways of de escalating. You know, the same way we want the police to, okay, get
Right.
into a whole bunch of steps that
pre-
you take before you shoot me.
preachy lane.
That, well, I mean,
You right? Go ahead. I
we
mean,
got a pastor on, so he can tell me whether I'm right or wrong. Pastor,
You only let the church say amen.
uh-huh, uh-huh. Bishop Scott says that she herself said she is empowered and unbothered by anyone's perception of it, not disabled, but empowered. And it is a disabling kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe being in the category that she's in, she can find more fixes for that. There are a number of other people who cannot. It's just so shocking to us because in every movie or show we have seen Will Smith is the good guy. The truth is,
Mm-hmm.
what we learned on Sunday night is that these
My Lord.
people play characters. This is Kimberlyn speaking. We don't know them and we don't know what they are going through mentally or in any other way. So, what one family member is going through, all family members are going through if they love each other and care about each other. So, this discussion is something else. I think we've run out of time.
Mister, can I do my close now?
Yes, you can.
give the
Please.
benediction.
Yes.
Give the benediction.
And take
My
up the
close
collection.
is two of my U.S. Congressmen made this comment, and I'm gonna make it now.
Okay.
And that's for Chris, and that's for Will and all of us. And that comment was, "We're better than that." What
Yeah.
happened
Absolutely.
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
Academy Award?
But but
We're better
but I
than that.
meant what I said about all these agencies that are getting these hundreds of
Yeah.
thousands of dollars to work on mental
Mm-hmm.
health and all of these other things. You got to
Mm-hmm.
produce, because the
Yeah.
alternative is that we continue to lose people. This has been a wonderful discussion. And those folks who tuned in today and made comments, these folks were new. I had not seen their names before, but I am thrilled. I am thrilled that you decided to join the discussion and let us know. My special guest today has been none other than my longtime friend, Mr. Herbert Denard, and also on the phone, Pastor Larry Dunning, and we expect him to join us regularly for the discussion. We're going to be back next Wednesday for another edition of Ask Elaine, and we're going to be talking about some other topics. We're going to talk about Trump. We're going to talk about the fairy tale couple. We're going to talk about Clarence Thomas and his boo,
Woo.
what's her name?
Her boo.
Jenny. His boo, Jenny. He needs to recuse himself from everything. He needs to go back
Mm.
home down near Savannah, where he came from. He is ridiculous. So we're going to be talking about that and all of the other topics that you have told us you wanted to talk about. So, thank you again for tuning in. Thank you, Herbert. Thank you to everybody who's been listening or watching today. Thank you to the folks here at WDDO, Historic WDDO, who have helped us to get all this together and have made some comments today, too. That's been wonderful. So, on behalf of everybody here, the Ask Elaine, please register to vote if you are not registered to vote, because you can't vote unless you are registered. Can you, Herbert?
That's right.
Last time I looked, you couldn't. So we'll see you again next Wednesday, 3 p.m. for another edition of Ask Elaine.
Ask Elaine.
connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 988.